Life has unexpected twists, and pregnancy is one of them. People in all states are getting abortion pills in advance to have at home in case of future need. Visit PlanCpills.org to learn more. That's PlanCpills.org.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
Hello and welcome to 1,000 Natural Shocks, a Bad with Money podcast. I'm your host, Gabe Dunn, and we have Catie Laffoon on the podcast today. We talk about California a lot, but you can transpose everything that we're talking about into your state, into perhaps a city very close to you, if not your city. So we're going to get into basically the creation of what we believe are going to be slave cities and what you can do to help prevent money going to places that will facilitate that. A place like California City can be kind of hard to follow or explain. We spend the first part of the episode setting the scene, including the history of California City, its current corruption, and then we delve into what is actually happening in the state's largest detention center and how water is being used to control it. The conversation delves into the harsh realities of detention centers in California and around the U.S., highlighting accounts and perspectives that reveal the cruelty and torture experienced by individuals within these facilities. Ones that I would argue are concentration camps. No, I wouldn't argue it. I believe they're concentration camps. The discussion emphasizes the need for awareness and advocacy regarding the treatment of detainees. For an example, look up Masuma Khan, look up anyone who's being held in Chrome, look up people who have died in detention. Yes, people are dying. These centers are being framed as detention facilities, but they are prisons. They are long-term prisons. People need to know about these human rights violations, and community involvement is how we're going to fix this. So you need to open your eyes, see what's happening, tell other people what's happening, and then hear Catie and I about how to get involved. It's a rough one, guys. And there are some parts that might come across bleak, but really this is about educating you and letting you know what's happening so that you can be on the same page as us and realize how far along we are. Thank you so much, and thanks to Catie for all her work. Okay, give it a listen.
About achievement. They caught you when they got you to believe it. Thumb and finger held to their foreheads in an L shape, trapped in a capitalist hellscape. Let's fight back and have some talks about class and the massive cost of the disastrous plots of fascists and Nazis, fat cats and fogs. It's 1,000 Natural Shocks, a Bad with Money podcast.
Hello, welcome to 1,000 Natural Shocks, a Bad with Money podcast. I'm your host, Gabe Dunn, and with me today, you know her, you like her. She's on the internet. Hello, Catie Laffoon. Can you tell my audience who you are and what you do as of now, I guess? What we all do as of now?
Hi, guys. What in the now times, this is so weird. What do I do? I guess, I'm a local activist, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that, is that what we would call ourselves? Community activists?
Like one of us who got activated like a sleeper agent when all of this started going down. One of us that kind of Manchurian candidated on.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, it was like flipped a switch and game on. I have not slept since June 8th, and none of us have really. So
I know, it's like always funny. I had Eddie and Taylor on, and it's always funny to be like, I didn't know these people 6 months ago.
I can't imagine my life without you guys. I don't want to. That's so sad.
We all just went like down to the detention center or started caring about stuff at the same time. And then we were like, okay, hello.
Yeah. I was like, what do you guys need help with? Okay, how can I help? Let's do that. Okay, let's go over here. Okay, they need help. Let's go do that. Great. Yeah. And then there's this guy in a Luigi hat just running around asking everyone who's their boss. Who do you work for?
If you don't know, that's Eddie, but you can go back and listen to that episode. So I wanted to have you on to talk about California City. It's kind of a mess of what we can and can't say, but I was, interested in how much you talked about in that video and how much the response was either, yes, that totally makes sense, or absolute denial and like desperation for it not to be true. So can you talk a little bit about like how did we end up down there?
I saw a random post from the Dolores Huerta Foundation that said that Core Civic had officially opened the former prison as an ICE detention center. And I mean, it had been in the news in LA here in the spring that might happen. And people were freaking out. It was a big story because we'd finally closed that prison. It was a big deal. And then it does open and there's nothing. I was like, this can't be a real post. It was one of those things where I'm like, oh, this is internet fake something, right? Like we would know. We're in the streets every day. There's no way we wouldn't hear about this. Turns out it was real and there wasn't any press. So I drove up and oh my God, now we're here. It was
it's so much.
I don't even know where to begin. It just, as soon as I drove into that town, I just went, oh no, we're Molly, you in danger, girl.
Core Civic is one of the two largest private prison companies that exist. There's Core Civic and Geo Group.
Yeah.
And Core Civic, so we're in California City, California, which sounds like it would be more important of a place for like regular Los Angeles people than it is. But basically there was a prison there, and Gavin Newsom, like 2 years ago, was working on closing private prisons. He closed like 5 of them. And that was one of them. And so it was like a big thing, like we've closed this private prison. This is like morally great. And then ICE showed up in California. And all of a sudden, there were whispers that they were about to open Core Civic, the one that Gavin Newsom closed, in California City, which, by the way, is in the middle of the Mojave Desert. There's nothing there.
There's nothing there. And that was the thing. It was like at the idea that Core Civic might reopen that prison as a detention center, people were like clutching their pearls, like, no way. And then they do it. They illegally do it. They have no permit, no business license, nothing. And no one's stopping them. And there's not a peep. There's no press. There's not a single story. You don't hear Gavin Newsom, the mayor of LA. Nobody is talking about it. And by the way, this is like at peak alligator Alcatraz. Like people love talking about that. It's like, this is so much worse. It's nearly 3,000 beds. It's in the middle of the desert, the middle of the Mojave Desert, and Edwards Air Force Base is on the other side of it. And I just was like, this doesn't feel right. There's something going on. So I drove up there just to like check out a local town council meeting to be like, all right, let's see what's going on in this town. And oh my God, I did not mean to take the red pill, but fuck me.
Okay, we can't even get into council. But basically, so it opens. There are 500 or so people there at that time. They had failed in July a fire permit inspection. They had no permits. And to me, if I'm that town and I'm in charge of it in any way, have any power there, a business opens in that town without any license and without proper like fire safety, anything like that. So it's deeply illegal. You would think they would try to stop it because it's like if you open an illegal business anywhere, the government is supposed to come for you. And that wasn't happening. And it seemed to me that the government there either was like impotent. It was just like the federal government can come in. There's nothing they can do. Or they were benefiting from it, in on it.
Complicit. Yeah.
And it seemed like kind of a mix of both. So then we went to the city council in California City. And California City, I want to paint you a picture. There's nothing there.
Oh my God. It's a patch of dirt with a Starbucks and a McDonald's, and that's it.
But then there's like just some homes. There's a population of 13,000 people.
Yeah.
15,000.
About.
So then, I mean, you have to like go to another city to go to the hospital.
I think you have to go to Bakersfield.
Yeah.
It's far.
And California City's like 2 hours away from LA.
Yes, it's 2 hours. I mean, it is in the middle of the Mojave Desert.
Also there is Edwards Air Force Base. And then driving around, you discovered that there's a private airport.
It's a public airport. It's called the Mojave Air and Spaceport. And so it's one of those public airports where if, you're training to get your pilot's license or something like that, that's where you would go. But as you're driving in, before I didn't know that. So I'm driving in and I just see a ton of planes, like huge planes. And I'm thinking, I don't remember seeing an airport on the map. What the fuck is happening? All right, let's go check out this airport. And then you drive up and it's an airplane graveyard. So it wasn't, 747s like I thought. But it's also really creepy. There's just a bunch of dead planes out there. But as you drive around, you can just tell it's one of those, it's so American Pie, like the early 60s America propaganda, stars and stripes on everything. And it has a NASA capsule out front and this, model airplane. And it's very that frozen in time. But you drive around and guess whose name we see? Northrop Grumman. They have a home base right there. It's where they developed the stealth bomber. So that public airport, that sweet little public airport, not so little, it has a runway large enough to land cargo planes.
It's huge.
Yeah, that's where they do all the flight testing for Edwards Air Force Base. So it looks nondescript, but it's not as innocent and nondescript.
It doesn't look nondescript. It looks crazy as hell. And then
there's a Werner von Braun quote right there.
So that's the other thing. So we walk around. Yeah. There's a diner, which is weird. There's security on golf carts. So NASA's there. And then you walk around and there's a garden thing that's for people that died.
Yeah.
Which is then I'm Googling all the test pilots that have died, which is rough. Then there's a big plaque with a Werner von Braun quote, who was a Nazi.
Biggest Nazi of them all.
Big Nazi.
We have him to thank for our entire military industrial complex. So thanks, man. We get, that's all on him. Thanks.
And the quote is something like, they say man can't go to the stars, but man can go wherever he wants, where I was like,
yes.
Okay, colonization. So then you leave and you go and there's nothing. And so we went to city council, and city council is wild.
If we could stream that, we would put Secret Lives of Mormon Wives off the air. People would eat that shit up. It is unreal. The drama in this town. I don't understand. Their city council meetings it's like Real Housewives has nothing on them. They got nothing.
5 hours long, which honestly, LA City Council could take a note because everybody gets to talk.
That should be their punishment. LA City Council has to sit through a California city meeting.
There's small grievances, and then there's us saying hey, there's a prison open.
Yeah.
There's no decorum. The mayor is a former rapper who has no footprint on the internet.
DJ clientele.
DJ clientele. He has no real connection to the city. Marquette Hawkins. And he is kind of just a fish out of water there. And I don't know how he became mayor. Well, we do know.
Yeah,
he shipped some people in to vote for him.
That's what people are saying.
Conjecture.
Yeah,
he appears 3 years ago.
Yeah, he just appears in California City and then suddenly becomes mayor. This guy in the middle of Kern County.
Yeah.
This is Kern County. It's the most racist place in California. Arguably, it is the Alabama of California.
And he's black. So he becomes mayor out of nowhere. And then the city council is just kind of stacked with, or he clears the city council out to be stacked with his acolytes.
Basically, he has stacked the audience every time they have a meeting. And so he'll have the audience suggest things or accuse things. And so as of now, 3 city council members have left the
Mhm.
council, but at the time
Mhm.
there was only two, that first one that you and I went to.
Mhm.
And like right on the spot, right there, they skipped an election and they just appointed two
Two people.
people, which actually, I can't remember if we talked about this. It is illegal because the reason the other council member was waiting and he didn't come back till he did on September 9th is because you could only appoint somebody within 60 days.
Right.
And 60 days expired on September 7th.
So he was trying to stop, basically.
Yeah. Like them being able to just appoint some random people that were, lapdogs to the mayor.
Now, let me say, speaking of lapdogs, so the big thing that they were accusing, the first meeting I went to, the big drama, the big accusation was that this guy, this council member, had used the fire department to deliver dog food to his house. That was the scandal of a lifetime. That was crazy.
He was getting screamed at.
Screamed at. He buys food from a pet store, donates it to the shelter. The fire department was bringing it to the shelter, and they dropped his own food off at his house.
It was like he took the private jet to
Yeah.
Asia or something. Yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy. So that city is rife with illegal stuff, scandal, corruption. It's known a little bit because there was a really good podcast about the origins of California City.
It's called California City. And it talks about the land scams. I mean, that place is just, it was built on a scam. It's it's like the dreamland of scammers.
Yeah, the scam was that they were selling the land to people and then the land wasn't theirs at all.
They were selling land to people with the idea, the promise that it would be valuable one day, even though they knew it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Which was basically repackaging the original idea of what California City was, is here, buy these plots of land because a city will be here one day.
Yeah, they have all this infrastructure to be like a massive city.
It is the third largest city in California by land.
Nothing there.
But nothing there.
But the infrastructure is there, which is so weird. You're like driving through a ghost town.
It's so creepy, man. It is eerie there. And I'm telling you, it is the hellmouth. I get sick every time I come back from that place. Like the energy up there is so dark. It is so dark. I mean, not to get all woo-woo, but I'm like, my soul is like, nope, we are in the fetal position the entire next day.
Yeah, it's weird. So it goes under the radar, like the largest detention center, second largest.
No, it's the largest ICE detention center in California. They legally have just over 2,700 beds, but I think it's safe to say they're going to go well over 3,000. But we have no idea how many people are actually inside right now.
We heard 500, but we don't know.
I just think that's a bullshit line because it was 500 on August 29th or September 1st, and it hasn't changed. There's no way. Their only reason to not have more would be staff, and that is just not an issue up there. They wouldn't have a hard time staffing that prison.
A big thing is that they're going to have jobs for everyone in the town to be ICE officers, I guess, or not ICE officers necessarily, but to work in the kitchen or work as security or whatever there.
It's about to be a full-on company town, and they're about to bend the knee. And I mean, a big selling point is overtime and all these good paying jobs. But it's like once these corporations, these big companies have their hooks into your town, why do they need to pay you a good wage? There's nowhere else you can go. They own everything. They own the local gas station. They own the markets. They own you. It's not like you can quit and get a different job.
Right. What job are you going to get once everyone works at that detention center?
Or is some way affiliated because it is a company town, which is what they are doing. They're
going to move everyone in. They're going to take over the town. Okay, so the big thing is the town is also hugely in debt.
They did sell off the fire department.
That was a big thing. They were going to privatize the fire department and EMT services, and they did it.
They did. Yeah. So they now have no paramedics in the entire town. No paramedics.
So they have the city infrastructure, and they have nothing there, and they're putting all these company men in there. They have access to multiple airports. Do you want to talk about the trains?
Yeah. So essentially where this prison is, it sits right next to Edwards Air Force Base. And like we said, there's a small airport. There's a couple of those small airports up there, actually. But what you will notice when you're driving into Mojave is that you are following the train tracks. And if you actually look at the rail system, the cargo system, like the cargo rail system, it goes straight to Edwards Air Force Base. It goes straight through that desert because that is the former line that they used to use from the port of LA to Edwards Air Force Base in World War II when they were building stuff. So right now, there is a direct line from downtown LA where they are kidnapping people straight up to the middle of the desert to an Air Force base where there is a no-fly zone, where it is impossible to get eyes out there by that prison, by that Air Force. You can disappear people and no one would ever even know it's happening. They would never know.
My thing, too, is even if you escape, you're in the middle of the, to quote Ocean's 11, you're in the middle of the fucking desert.
There is no escape. You'll die. It's the Mojave Desert. You will immediately die.
Okay, so there's the airports, there's a no-fly zone, there's all of this way that they can say you can't be here because this is a military. And the trains, I love the people in the comments of the video that were like, those are cargo trains. And it's like, yeah, bitch.
Yeah.
Where do you think they're going to put the people? You're so stupid.
I love that they thought it was going to be like the surf liner. Like,
right?
We're taking people on the surf liner. We're not going to Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
We're laughing because it's so horrible. And also because people
we're laughing
tried
because we're so exhausted and it's
fucked.
So real. And we've actually kind of seen it. Like, oh no. Like, I can see the trains in my head.
Yeah. So the big thing from the video that we ended up putting out, about, I would say, a quarter of the information that we have. Also, I want to make the point that it is a prison. It's set up as a prison, and they're calling it a detention center as a technicality so that they can bring people there and say, well, it's on their way to deportation. But the problem is that this has the infrastructure of an indefinite prison.
And they're being treated like prisoners. So all of these ICE detention centers, they're all being run out of prisons.
We have intel about what it's like inside.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we do know what it's like inside. We talk to people. So like when we go to those California City Council meetings, people call in, family members call in, and they've spoken to people who are inside that facility. I'm in touch with lawyers who have clients inside that facility. We've spoken to people who have been inside that facility. And the point is cruelty. The point is torture. They are not being treated like humans. This is not a detention center. This is a prison.
So every council meeting, this little girl calls in and she's like crying.
And she's maybe 13, 12.
And she's asking where her dad is. And she thinks he's in CoreCivic and what can they do? Please help. You guys are the city council. And they just go like, thanks. And then that's it. It's so bad.
That little girl called in the first time I went up there, the time before you went up. And I was so just shocked because, we're coming off of LA City Council and our local government and just getting absolutely nowhere.
Nooch.
Like,
they don't care.
Asking these questions, just asking anybody for help. Like, just will somebody help us? Will somebody answer a question? And 5 months later, we still have nothing. But I went up there and you have this little girl who, again, we don't know what she looks like. We don't know where in California she's even calling from. But you can tell that she is a little girl looking for her dad. And she was told that he was transferred to California City. And can anyone help her? She has called all of these various numbers and she's called all over the state. And this little kid is calling into a Zoom meeting in California City, like not even a council meeting, a city planning commission meeting. That's what she was calling into and just asking if anybody could help her. And just nothing.
Nothing.
Just the absolute silence of, we can't help you.
Because there's a thing of like, you're not supposed to respond on city council to comment. But as a human being, I don't know how you don't just like break decorum. Like, hiring isn't just about finding someone willing to take the job. I need the right person with the right background who can move our business forward. If I wanted candidates who match what I'm looking for, I'd trust Indeed-sponsored jobs. I actually found my job on Indeed, and it was so easy to search through what I wanted to do and my skills and find the right place that was looking for exactly what I could offer. Hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post even seen on other sites. Give your job the best chance to be seen with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. They help you stand out and hire quality candidates who can drive the results you need. Sponsored Jobs boosts your posts for quality candidates so you can reach the exact people you want faster. And it makes a big difference. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed are 90% more likely to report a hire than non-sponsored jobs because you reach a bigger pool of quality candidates. Join the 1.6 million companies that sponsor their jobs with Indeed. Spend more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. Now with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/badwithmoney. Just go to Indeed.com/badwithmoney right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/badwithmoney. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed. Everything that's happening is illegal, so just be a human. It's bizarre. When that call came in, I had to leave the room. I went outside. I was gone for like 20 minutes. I went outside. I needed air, and I was like gonna throw up. And the other time that happened was when we were at the detention center and I saw kids waving through the window. And I had to like sit down and breathe, like not into an actual paper bag, but I was like, I'm having a panic attack.
Yeah, I don't think people realize there are kids in the MDC in downtown. Like there are kids being held in that building.
And they do heart hands in the window, and it's devastating.
Awful. Kids are being imprisoned
Their
in the
little
middle of
hands.
Los Angeles.
It's awful.
Yeah, and then the people like trying to be like, please don't imprison them, are getting shot by LAPD.
Yep, with the less than lethals, which whatever. Then, so this girl calls in. I don't know, with LA City Council, and listeners, if you know about your city council, write in, or if you've been, because some people were like, oh, it's like Parks and Rec, but that show I think did some damage because it's not funny. I mean, it's funny because it's insane, but it's like not funny to be like, oh, LOL. It normalized city councils being useless, I think. Believe me, you don't want to get into how I think Parks and Rec is a psyop. Anyway, so
what? No, I love Leslie. No, don't. I do.
I think I think it's a neoliberal psyop. Anyway, so
are we gonna have our first fight?
So I think people were like, oh, city councils are supposed to be dumb. But it's really ridiculous to go, like, people didn't know. Like, we would post clips of us, like, screaming and begging for help from LA City Council, and they don't even pay attention. They don't listen. Yeah. Marquise Harris Dawson is, like, eating and, like, yawning.
He's like Caesar Flickman from the Hunger Games.
And then he wishes he was dressed that well. Anyway, so then...
That's true. He doesn't have half the style.
So then going to California City, there was like a precedent of city council meetings. They just don't react. The council members are stone-faced. They don't react. And I don't know if there's a level of they're so tuned out or they're used to it. They like kill off a bit of their emotions. So do you want to talk about the water and the electricity and all that?
Yeah. So, I mean, that video, I mean, it was interesting, right? Because we had a plan to roll out several things. And then we basically had uncovered some stuff and we saw the map. We saw what was being laid out. And we thought, okay, we have to do some more investigating and be
more intentional about it.
We all really wanted to do the ethical thing and make sure whatever we put out, we had fully vetted and researched, and like, because we don't want to be conspiracy theorists. So everything that we put out is true in fact. We wanted to do more, but basically, like, we're working on this California City of it all, and then I stumble onto water. California City sits on an aquifer. And one of the meetings that I was in, I had heard them mention a pipeline. Now, in real time, when I heard it, in the 5 hours of just boring meeting, you think pipeline, you think oil pipeline.
Right.
And then I thought later, I went, I wonder if that's a water pipeline. And so I go back, rewatch that, and it's a water pipeline. And it's connected to Ridgecrest. And so anyway, the water sent us in a completely different direction and like what was actually happening in the state. So
Yep.
water is very precious in California, as we know. California City sits in an interesting location. It's on an aquifer. It's in Kern County, so it's the like southern part of the Central Valley where all of the food in California is grown. It's where all the agriculture is. And the water flows from the north through the Central Valley. But you have the LA Aqueduct, and that flows through California City. And with all of the water part, it just suddenly all of the military bases look different. And then looking at the congressional map looks very, very different. And you see where troops are being sent and where the railroads are. It suddenly the map starts to look really different when you see who's donating to whose campaigns, who's buying more water futures, and where they're investing that money, what corporations are moving into places like California City. It's very, very alarming. It's very alarming. They clearly have a plan in place, and they don't want anyone to see it. They don't want anyone watching.
All of those areas, you think that California is blue, blue, blue. All of those areas that we're talking about are red.
Red.
All of those
very red.
Officials are donated to by billionaires, by MAGA people, by big like defense contractors, all that stuff. Water is more precious than gold. Like the investments in water are that's going to be at the end of the world. You've seen Mad Max. That's going to be the thing. So there's a couple called the Resnicks. And if you want to look into the Resnicks, look into the Resnicks. And there's a documentary called Water and Power. And the Resnicks own a lot of the water in California. And they
own a lot.
They do palm. They own a lot of companies. So look into Wonderful Corporation and Palm and look into everything that they own.
Yeah, they're one of those companies that likes to present themselves as a philanthropic endeavor by saying, oh, we love our workers and look, we're building neighborhood playgrounds, but they pay them less than slave wages. Like they are trafficking people and they hide behind, oh, but look, we built a community park.
Yep. And everyone kind of knows it. And also on that video that you made, the Wonderful Company commented.
Nothing to see here. Nothing screams we're innocent, like commenting on a social media post.
Tagged all of us and then was like, this isn't true. And it's like, there's a full documentary about it. Like, what are you talking about?
I love it so much.
It is interesting because you were trying to get journalists before you made this whole video. Like, you were trying to get journalists to cover this, and it was like dead until the SF Chronicle did something.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted somebody to cover core civic in California City because it made zero sense. Again, everyone's freaking out about Alligator Alcatraz because it's illegal, but that's run by the state, right? Everyone's freaking out. It's all over the news. It has the hip, marketing clickbaity name. And it's like, okay, that's 800 people. This is 3,000. And our governor, who's trolling the shit out of the president, isn't saying anything.
Nothing.
Like it makes no sense. Like, I'll be honest. If it's just hard for me not to think. This is where it gets conspiracy theory, right? Like, it's hard for me not to think that the elected officials are just complicit in some way, because if you had just said, hey, this is happening, but we don't know what to do, at least you're saying something. But like, there have been people in the rooms with the governor. He will not comment on it. He will not comment on it. Nobody will comment on it. And I couldn't get a single news outlet to pick up the story. Why? It is such an easy story. It's a juicy story. It's the easiest story to pitch. And no one would pick it up. And then we just kept finding more stuff. And it was like, well, I guess we're doing this now.
And so you put it out on social media, which got a lot of attention, which is wild because then there was the SF Chronicle story. I wrote something about it for Autostraddle. And then we run into so many people who were like, oh, the largest detention center in California is open and running illegally. And people in our lives and other activists are like, what? And we're like, yeah. They're
yeah.
like, what?
People in LA don't know.
Don't
It's
know.
like they're literally driving straight from the detention center right up there. That's where
in
they're
downtown
trafficking these
to
people.
California City. So once we started looking at this, my big thing, and you said it in the video, so I'm just going to say it, is that I was like, oh, it's a slave city.
Mhm.
Like, what they're going to do is they're
Yeah.
going to take people by cargo train and by these planes and move them into this no-fly zone. And then there's all this infrastructure in California City. So you can have people living there who work for nothing. You can put people up in housing or build little shacks or whatever. You can have them in the prison and then have a whole community there. You have the water. You have water to power electricity. You have the ability to power data centers. And you can also hold the water hostage.
What I really see them doing is because the prison's on the very outskirts of California City, and then it just is endless Mojave. You're in Death Valley, right?
Yep.
MAGA, the president, they're not lying when they say they're bringing manufacturing back to America. They very much are. Manufacturing is coming back, but there are not going to be any jobs. They're not bringing jobs back. They're actually, that's such a white people move, by the way, is verbiage. They're very specific. They're bringing manufacturing back. They didn't say they're bringing jobs back. Yeah. And so they're going to build everything in towns like California City and probably like Leavenworth, Kansas.
There are all these, if you look it up, there are so
Yep.
many. In your state, you probably have
Yes.
one of these cities being built.
It'll be a rural town. They prey upon them. It'll be a place where they can hide stuff. It depends on what they're going to be building. But like, this is why California City is so scary in particular, is because you can do a lot out there and there is no way for anyone to ever see it. They're just going to build labor camps out there and there will be manufacturing for, what is it, batteries, literally any cars, like the stuff that people buy on a daily basis, whatever it is that you buy from Walmart, whatever it is you buy from Starbucks, that stuff is going to be made by labor camp people. Like this is going to be slave labor, and they're going to build these cities, and there's going to be a whole operation that builds up around it. What scares me in particular about California City, though, is the biomedical testing, because you just know. I mean, that's already out there. Biomedical and aerospace technology, that's there. And you have the trains. You can just traffic thousands and thousands of people and no one would ever know. I mean, think about how many people could disappear into medical testing. You know? I mean, think of how many people they say that they want to, quote unquote, deport from this country. Think of how many of those people are in LA. That's millions of people. How do you get them out of the city?
They can deport them and say, we don't know where they are. And then they're in California City.
They, quote unquote, deport them. They're just at like a biomedical test. Like,
they go missing.
Elon Musk's Neuralink thing, they basically said what they're fast tracking. How do you do that? That means you have to start testing on people. They have to start testing on people. Who do you think they're going to test? This is straight up Nazi shit, which is straight up American shit.
Well, yeah. Prisons already do this. Like, they already have people manufacturing stuff for peanuts. They have firefighters. They pay nothing. They have all of these things in place anyway. It's not a leap that it would be like, oh, you're in prison, actually, or you're in a detention center, actually, and your job is to start making batteries, actually.
I mean, they've been slow rolling this for decades. Like, I mean, they started in the 70s into the 80s with mass incarceration, and they've just slowly been seeing how much they can get away with. And the truth is, if people don't have to see it and people aren't made uncomfortable by it, and when I say people, I mostly mean white people, then, you know, not really my issue, not my problem. And so it can exist in the background. And it is going to be exactly that right now. Literally, this is going to get worse and worse and worse until they start disappearing people who look like me off the street and sending them to labor camps. Truly, that's what's it's gonna have to happen. It really sucks.
It's zone of interest.
I didn't disappear myself, just, you know.
I was about to say, neither of us are suicidal.
We are not suicidal.
Yeah,
Yep, Yeah, my password is... No, I'm just kidding.
I know, right?
It's dark but real.
1,200 people went missing from Alligator Alcatraz. Like, they don't know where they are. You know, you start being like, this isn't conspiracy. This is happening. And if nobody's going to cover it, then will just put it out. And all you can do is put it out and see what people say. I mean, that video did really well. You would think even as a former journalist myself, or I guess current journalist, if I saw that video, I would also make a post about that video.
Like, I haven't seen anyone do a response to that. Actually, that's a good point. I know we were a little worried about conspiracy theory stuff when we put it out. But that's where I was like, okay, we're only putting out facts. We're not really putting out theories. Except like, okay, this is the perfect way to hide a slave city should they want to do that. That was the only conjecture. I didn't get a lot of like bullshit, like this is conspiracy crap. It was a lot of, oh, wow, look at the train tracks. Like, uh-oh. Oh, interesting. When you look at the map like that, oh, no. It was a lot of like... I do think we're just so used to seeing information piecemeal that when you put it all together, things look scary. And that's where, I don't know, the last 5 months, nothing's conspiracy anymore. And I don't mean that in like a Laura Loomer way. I mean that in like, everywhere we look, people are doing really, really bad, evil things. And I just don't think it's a leap to think that someone else might be doing really, really bad, evil things.
So another big comment, I'll close with this. Another big comment was, well, what can we do about it? Which I fucking hate. Let me tell you something. 2 things I hate. One is when people comment, well, okay, what are we supposed to do about it? And 2, when people say, well, it's time for the Second Amendment, I'm like, okay, then you do it. Like, what are you saying with that comment? That's what you want? Okay. If that's your stance, how about you take that risk? Or how about you put your body on the line? And then I've just started responding, are you going to bail me out if I do it? And like, they're not, because I'm not going to, because they're not going to. Like, so then there's that. And then also the people that are like, well, what are we supposed to do about it? Or there was a video this girl made that was like, look it up. Like, you're an adult. Like, get involved. You're a grown-up. And then people were like, on that video, were like, okay, well, what do I do? Like, where do I look it up? And I'm like, I'm going to straight up explode.
Yeah.
What can people do, Catie?
Well, right now, actually, there's a very clear action that people can do, and that is the blackout. That is the boycott. Look, I think I'm the perfect audience for this because I didn't get it. Our friend Taylor, who was on your podcast, she's been screaming about this for months. And she was screaming about it before we even met. But I remember the first time she brought up the general strike. And look, I am your typical, like, left do-gooder NPR liberal leading, you know, I think I'm like doing good in the world, but then you don't really know what you don't know until you really don't fucking know. And then you know it and you can't unsee it. And that's where I am. And so when she said general strike, I'm like, how do people just like not spend money for a week? And like people can't just like not go to work. And I here's the thing. Here's what you can do, guys. It's actually not that hard. We have been conditioned. We have been conditioned to give our money to corporations as opposed to keeping it within our communities. So a general strike, all that means, don't spend money at corporations. That doesn't mean don't spend money. It means shop local. It means like instead of going to Starbucks, go to your local barista, go to your local coffee shop. It means instead of going to Barnes & Noble, support your local bookstore if you're someone who knows what a book is. Yeah, it means like going and supporting a local cafe as opposed to going to the Cheesecake Factory. Like,
wow,
it's so
coming for the Cheesecake Factory.
I mean, I love me some cheesecake. Don't get me wrong. But like, come on, Cheesecake Factory's fine. Don't go there. Yeah. Like, they're fine. They are $1 billion business. All of these chains, these corporations, Target, Walmart, all of these companies, they have gotten us conditioned to pay them to sell us back the things that we can buy down the street. Like, and so we're sending our money here. You know what's interesting is when I was growing up, I don't know if you remember this, or maybe this was just my really racist growing up. A really big talking point, like anti-immigration, was like, oh, well, you know, they come here and they work our American jobs and send our American money away, like out of the country. That was like, I grew up hearing that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting. I don't hear that anymore. I never
Right.
hear that anymore because, man, it's so easy to draw that comparison because what the fuck does a corporation do?
Exactly.
You pay a corporation and that money does not stay in your community. It doesn't even stay in your state. Hell, it doesn't stay in the country. Most of these corporations, we're paying them. They're not paying American workers. They're not even paying for American goods. So we are paying them and we are just sending money out and away. And this is the way people can actually like regain their power. So I think if people are feeling powerless or you feel like, you know, there's nothing I can do, I'm not a frontline person or ICE is not in my town, this is a really, really easy way to join the fight and to see exactly how powerful you are. Because these billionaires, these corporations, they do not exist without us. Literally, they can't function. Their money is our money. They only become trillionaires because they are taking the money out of our pockets. They only become that because we show up to work. Like, if people actually just all got together on Black Friday and said, you know what?
No.
Let's stay home. Let's not stream anything. Let's not shop. Or, you know what? Let's go out and support our local smoothie shop or our local cafe instead. That would, think of the money that goes into your local economy because that goes to a local vendor who will keep that money in that community, in that town. Like, I really think it would be like GameStop, but global. Like, think of how cool it was to see GameStop, like them rig that system.
Oh, we've done an episode on it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you could see like, oh, you're tired of paying all this money. You're tired of being taken advantage of. You're tired of the cost of living. This is how you get back at them. Their wallets are the only thing that they care about. So just don't give them your money. They will do anything. They will do anything to get you to open your wallet. And I guarantee you, if people just stopped, what would come out of like the government trying to get people to spend money would be fascinating because they are broken without us. So just don't spend your money at Target. Hell, even just pick one thing. If it's not everything, just pick one thing. Like, don't go to Starbucks.
Once you get rid of that stuff, I don't miss any of it. And I've found alternatives. In terms of getting rid of streaming, what's been interesting is I have a library card and you can get Hoopla and you can get Canopy. It's movies for free, TV shows for free. A lot of it is British TV, which is fine. The point I'm making is that you can discover new stuff. So like when I go on Canopy, let's say I type in, I can't find what I'm looking for, but I'm like, we type in Harrison Ford and I'm like, what has Harrison Ford been in? Oh, here's a movie I've never heard of. Oh, let's watch it. I'm watching stuff that isn't like spoon-fed to me.
Yeah.
I think that if you get creative off of, you know, oh, these are the default settings, you'll be like, you know, I don't know. Like I've just found so much joy in not doing the default settings and figuring out the local places and getting to know, like I live in West Hollywood. It's its own city. Getting to know all the people there. I think it's not presenting it not as a boycott, but to me as a pro-cot.
Pro-cot.
And I've made all these lists. If people want them, I'll start posting them. All these lists of local grocery stores, local coffee shops that you can use in each part of LA instead of Gelson's or whatever. Thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find you and more stuff?
Oh, Catie Laffoon on Instagram. And I'm probably yelling at somebody or crying.
For sure. A Linktree / Make a Ruckus has a lot of good stuff that we've put out.
Yeah, if you want to follow local activists here in LA and some specific people around the country that we think are doing really good work, yeah, our Linktree is great. Just, go make a ruckus.
Life has unexpected twists, and pregnancy is one of them. People in all states are getting abortion pills in advance to have at home in case of future need. Visit plancpills.org to learn more. That's plancpills.org.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.